So Road to UFC Episode 3 will be taking place at Sunday, 6 AM Eastern Time, so this will be the day after Episode 1 and 2, and it should be another pretty good one. It's going to be the lightweights and the bantamweights, and once again the featured fight is going to be at 170 pounds, and it is Chris Hoffman taking on Sang Hoon Yu. Now both of these guys are older at welterweight, they're both 33 years old, and Chris Hoffman, I believe, was born in the Philippines. I think he was on the Filipino wrestling team at one point as well. And I'm actually going to pick him to win. He probably is going to be the underdog as well. But I looked into his fights, and this guy's got KO power. I like him on the feet. Sang Hoon Yu, you know, he lost on Dana White's Contender Series to Peter Barrett. And then he got KO'd by Andre Fialho. Now, those losses do happen, but I think he's going to get caught. I think he's going to get caught by Chris Hoffman, and Chris Hoffman can wrestle as well, and I just don't see Sang Hoon Yu being defensively sound on the feet, and I don't see him being that defensively sound when it comes to the wrestling as well. So I actually do think that Chris Hoffman will be able to find a KO blow in this matchup, but it's such a risky pick. It comes down to not putting any money on it, really. I wouldn't bet this fight. It's just a bad fight to bet, really. It really is. You know, Chris Hoffman, he's only fought once, I believe, in the last 4 years. He's fought since then and won by second round KO, but he's not fighting the best guys in the world, you know, but he does have a good win over John Zhao, who was actually like a celebrity in the Philippines as well. I think he was actually on like a Filipino beauty pageant and like Filipino reality shows. Like, it's a pretty fun win to have on your record. But I think that Chris Hoffman does find the KO here. He's probably going to be the underdog as well, but as I said, I wouldn't bet this fight. It's a little bit sketchy. And another fight, which I'm probably picking the underdog on, is going to be Long Zhao versus Shohan. I'm going to pick Long Zhao in this matchup here. The UFC, for some reason, really wants to sign Long Zhao. I don't really know what it is about him, but the UFC, they love him for some reason. He fought on Dana White's Contender Series against Christian Quinones and lost to a pretty competitive decision, and Quinones went on to KO Khalid Taha in the first round, so that's not that bad of a loss. And then he did win a couple of times over the not best competition. And then he was meant to be on the Road to UFC tournament last year. And something happened here. I think he missed weight against Minwoo Kim, or he was sick. And then he was meant to fight Felipe Lima in a Road to UFC bonus fight. And he got injured, so he didn't end up fighting Felipe Lima. But now he's back. He's fighting Shohan. He's obviously been training the whole time. He would have been improving too. He's only 25 years old. And as I said, for some reason, the UFC really wants him in the UFC, which is interesting. But Shohan is such a weird run in the Road to UFC last year. You know, he beat Wulichi Burin, who was actually a former UFC fighter, but he beat him by injury, and you couldn't really tell anything from that fight. And then he got sacrificed to Rinya Nakamura, who is an absolute beast and probably is Road to UFC's like best chance of having a champion come out of this tournament, because Rinya Nakamura is insanely good, man. He's so good. But yeah, I think that Shohan is he's probably gonna be maybe better striker than Long Zhao, but Long Zhao, as I said, he had a competitive fight against Christian Quinones. He did get knocked down in that fight. He did get a takedown against Christian Quinones. I just think Long Zhao is well-rounded. I think wherever the fight goes, I think he's going to be there. I think he's going to be ready. And I think he can beat Shohan by decision in this fight here. I think he can take down Shohan. I think he can clinch with Shohan. And I think he can strike. I'm going to pick him, man. It's a really sketchy pick that I don't feel that good about, but I just don't mind Long Zhao's chances here, and there's something about him that the UFC really likes. I don't really know, but I do encourage you to watch his Dana White's Contender Series fight, and that was a long time ago too. He would have improved by then. He was only, what, like 23 and a half years old? Now he's 25. He would have made a lot of improvements since then. He's been training, you know, so I'm going to go Long Zhao in that fight. Kazuma Moriyama taking on Sang-Uk Kim in the next one. Sketchy fight, to be honest. I'm gonna be really mean here. I'm gonna be really mean. I just don't think Kazuma Moriyama's that good. And that's kind of it, you know. I just don't rate him too highly. You know, he did lose recently to a guy called Anna Masenza, who is a pretty good fighter. But he did lose. I did beat a couple of guys that just aren't that good, and he doesn't look good when people are trying to take him down. And Sang-Uk Kim is going to try and take him down. Sang-Uk Kim is probably going to offensively wrestle against Kazuma Moriyama, and he should probably be able to beat him, but just like, who's he beating? Like, he's not beating very good opponents, and it's just, it's so sketchy, this fight, man. I'm picking Sang Kim, but who knows, dude? Like, I know this is a really bad breakdown of this fight, but you'll probably see it on the night. Like, it's a bit of a sketchy fight. Sang Kim should win. Has he beaten good competition? Absolutely not. Has Kazuma Moriyama beaten good competition? Absolutely not. But Sango Kim does look good offensively wrestling, and Kazuma Moriyama looks bad when he has to defend takedowns, and his takedown defense in general isn't that good. So I do have Kim to win by decision in this matchup here. It's an interesting fight though. But now we move on to a fight I'm really excited about. Shuya Kamakubo versus Bayeri Gialisi. I believe Bayeri Gialisi might be 23 years old. I think that's what JCK said. But aside from that though, I think Shuya Kamakubo, he's my pick to win the whole thing, man. This guy is something special, dude. He is really good, and he has fought in the one championship for a very long time. He went 6-0 for one championship. I don't know why he left one championship, but maybe he left one championship hoping to get signed by the UFC, and they've just put him in the tournament. But this guy is good, man, and he's beaten good guys at one, you know. Look at this win streak. Look at all these good guys that he beat, you know. We're talking about 9-3, 14-3, 7-3, 7-2. He beat good guys, and he looks really good doing it, and he's a really good offensive wrestler and grappler. And I think that Bayeri Gialisi is a guy, I'm going to be honest with you guys actually, sorry, I should have brought that up earlier. Bayeri Gialisi is a guy that I could find nothing on. I genuinely couldn't find much on him. I did go to JCK, and I did see that he's 23 years old, but when it comes to finding his fights, I really couldn't find much. I could find his debut, which was cool, but he was debuting against a 15-6 fighter, and that didn't go very well, and then I just couldn't really find anything on this guy. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, but to be fair, it probably wouldn't really matter too much because I do just rate Shuya Kamakubo that highly. Bayeri Gialisi, from what I saw in his loss, I believe he does seem to be a guy that does like to go for takedowns, but that's not going to work against Shuya Kamakubo, who's going to probably be the better wrestler and grappler, and he's also fought the much better competition. I think Shuya Kamakubo goes through and wins the entire thing. I think he wins by submission in this fight, and submission probably early on, first or second round. Now, Zhu Rong is taking on Sung Chang Hong. This is an interesting fight because Zhu Rong, if you guys may or may not remember, he was actually in the UFC as recent as a year and 2 months ago. And he did beat Brandon Jenkins, but Brandon Jenkins didn't have the best UFC run. And then he lost to Zach Gisola in the PFL. And I encourage, we're getting off topic here, but if you have not seen Zach Gisola versus Brandon Jenkins, you have to, man. Like, that was a fight. That was a fight, that's for sure. But anyway, yeah, Zhu Rong really let me down in the UFC. I really thought Zhu Rong was a guy that could definitely go on and do something and be one of those really good fighters from China. But he come in and just did nothing against Rodrigo Vargas. He did absolutely nothing in that fight. It was a very weird fight to watch, very frustrating fight to watch. And then he did go on to beat Brandon Jenkins, which is cool. But then he lost to Ignacio Bahamondes, and he didn't look very good in that fight. But then he did look a lot better when he fought Felipe Maya. And I think he can beat Sung Chang Hong. So I've just kind of talked down Zhu Rong for the last minute or so, just to pick him in this fight. I do think he can beat Sung Chang Hong. Sung Chang Hong is going to be the worst striker in this one here, in my opinion. But he is going to want to offensively wrestle. Now, Zhu Rong has good wrestling himself. So, and he's got pretty good grappling as well. So I don't really mind Zhu Rong's chances to keep the fight on the feet. And if he can keep the fight on the feet, he should be the much better striker, and he probably should be able to find something against Sung Chang Hong. Do I think that he could find a KO? Maybe not, but I do like Zhu Rong's chances to keep the fight on the feet and win a decision. Sung Chang Hong, he's not really beating the best guys. He's not the most dangerous guy in the world either. Like, he's taking guys that are 1-1 to decision, so it's not like we've really got to worry too much in this fight here. I like Zhu Rong by KO or decision, as kind of Tapology really loves him by KO. But yeah, I've got Zhu Rong probably. I think more decision might be more likely, but I might just go with the KO because Tapology's kind of pressured me into it. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that one there. That is Road to UFC episode 3. That will be taking place on Sunday at 6 AM Eastern time, and it will be followed up by Road to UFC episode 4.